Hello everyone, I'm Jane and welcome to a new opinion video. The topic of the day is PTB. We'll speak about the last PTB dedicated to the next chapter, this and beyond, and of the PTB system in general. I said something about it during the last stream, where we tested Mimic Killer and other stuff, but I want to go into details and explaining why I think that the current PTB system is actually not really functional. I think it has to change to be actually useful, to allow us to give the right feedback to the developers and testing stuff in the best way as possible. So, let's start from this and beyond. I'm a Slinger main. Of course, you expect some Slinger opinions. And I can confirm everything I was afraid of since the 4th anniversary stream. What I'm speaking about, the shock changes. Yes, this actually destroyed the Slinger. I don't know if these changes were intentional to actually nerf the Deathlinger, because from what I've seen it looks like that, and I don't really understand that, because the shackles were high skill plays that only a few players were actually able to have in this kind of tiles. So I really don't get, first of all, why covering a lot of the holes, especially the hardest ones, like the one behind the locker. It's a really hard shot. Not everyone is able to have it during a chase. Not everyone is able to take advantage of it. And as a survivor, unless the Slinger is really good, you can counter it by just not camping that point. Once that the community knows about it, you can just avoid that. So I really hope they didn't do it just for the Deathlinger, but they had actually other reasons for that. And the second point is that there is still a closed window in the back of the shack, because actually a lot of survivors were afraid because the window in the back allowed them to see the killer and to take decisions for mind games and stuff. So that window is still there, more or less, but at the same time this window is made of a lot of fake holes. And there is only a really tiny spot you can still shot through, but it's not worth it, especially in Springwood. I tried it, I was able to even achieve it. It will be really situational in a full game, but even after that I achieved that, there was a barrel that blocked my reading. So I'm really negative about these shack changes, especially after looking at Yamaoka and Springwood. The weird stuff is that actually in the other shacks we have the same look-alike for the closed window, and the holes are even bigger than usual, and these still work. I think that I didn't try, I have to be honest, but I think that even Huntress hatchets can go through that window now. I'm not sure about it, so I really don't understand what's their plan for the shack. I repeat, especially in Yamaoka you can notice that there are some other holes in the wall, and I was kind of excited when I saw these holes. I was like, okay, so we'll have other holes like in the saloon, and we have to master more shacks with the Deathlinger. I'm okay with that. But no, these holes were actually fake. Even if we had really similar holes in other sides, in other areas of the Yamaoka map, Santomo Road. So I was really upset at it. I was like, okay, they did it intentionally for the shack. I'm going to report this stuff. Maybe it's a glitch, maybe it's not intended, maybe they still want to allow us to shoot for this stuff, but we'll see. Speaking about the new contents instead, let's speak about the Blight. Playing him during the PTB was kind of frustrating. His power is actually a sort of dash that doesn't allow him to attack Survivor at the beginning. It's a really short dash, but with a really high speed. And he can actually attack survivors after that he bumps into a wall. This looks like a fun concept, a fun power and everything, but the problem is that it has to be polished. Because at the moment he bumps into a lot of invisible hitboxes of items and stuff, and this is not fun. This is actually a really frustrating experience. What makes me worried about this situation? What makes me worried is that the developers knew about that, and honestly I'm happy because it means at the same time that they are going to release a more fun killer, a killer that actually works as intended in the final version, but at the same time it actually confirms my feeling about the PTB system. Why are we testing content that it's not going to work as intended? Why are we testing a killer that they already know doesn't work really well and that it's frustrating in PTB? I don't want to sound like a whiny bitch, because I know that during the last period I'm just being really negative about the DbD. And I'm sorry about that, because as you know, I love the game, it means a lot to me because of Jane Romero and everything, I spoke about it a lot of times, and I'm really thankful to the developers, I know they are working hard and everything. But at the same time, I still see the same weird mistakes with communication and stuff, and as someone who studied communication, as someone who even worked as PR, I don't know, it makes me feel awkward. I repeat, they already know that the killer right now is not fun to play, and they already have a different build with the killer working in a better way. So I don't know, I really don't understand its move. And okay, this allows me to speak about the general problems of the PTB system. As you know, I'm not a big fan of how the PTB actually works. I think that a lot of times we are not able to see the real things about killers, perks and everything during the PTB tests. Why does this happen? First of all, how do we test this stuff? We launch the game and we start from a really recent save of our live server's progress. So, for example, if you saved 1 million blood points because you don't like to spend all your blood points all the time, you'll be able to test the killer or the survivor or the perks in a certain way. Because, for example, you can choose to level up the survivor, unlocking the perks, and then you pass these perks to your main survivor. So in that way you are actually able to see some possible combos with some of the new perks, and this is actually nice. The main problem is with the killer, because the killer is unique, and first of all you need the blood points to level up the killer. Second point, you need to be lucky and finding the right perks you want to actually test with the killer, because you can find perks that maybe are good but don't have a good synergy with the killer power, or maybe you are I don't know, you are just unlucky with the perks you find. So I wonder if this kind of feedback can be considered useful for the community and the developers, and my personal answer is not, because you rarely find killers with the perks that have no synergy with each other or with the power of the killer itself. So this is actually the first of the problems that we actually have during PTB. The second one is the people you usually find in PTB, for a few reasons. The first one is the matchmaking, that is actually more mixed than usual, so you find the purple, green, yellow ranks when you play as killer, or yellow rank killer with only one perk when you play as a survivor. And this actually says nothing about balanced metagame. I know finding sweat squads or really good survivors who play seriously in PTB when you have no perks and everything can be frustrating as well, but I think that two problems don't make a good solution, in my opinion. I think that these actually don't allow us to try the stuff in the right way. Another problem is the mindset of the community with the PTB. People don't play seriously, they usually play just for fun, and I think it's actually alright. You don't have to necessarily sweat during PTB, but at the same time you find survivors who just don't care about messing up, who play just for flashlight saves if they want to try, who play with the strongest stuff, and a lot of situations like this. So again, what can we get from these games if people actually don't play games like you usually see in the live servers? And my answer is, again, nothing really useful to understand what's going on or what's going to happen once the new contents will be released. The last problem, and I think this is one of the most important one, and everyone is guilty here, the community, but I think that the developers can do something more to solve this problem, is that people don't spend a lot of time in the PTB, so they don't have a lot of time to actually try stuff, to really understand if a charter is balanced or not, and stuff like that. I think that the developers should try to find a way to actually motivate people to spend more time in PTB. Maybe they can create some special charms that are available to every player who spent like, for example, 5 hours in the PTB and stuff like that. I think that the PTB can be a really good instrument for the developers to actually understand what's going on with the new chapter, what's going on with the new contents, if the new contents are good, if the new contents need some changes. But at the same time, I don't think that the actual system is good enough to actually allow them to work in the most effective way. And this is my opinion about the PTB. I would like to know what do you think about it, if you are satisfied by the current PTB system, if you have some suggestions, if there is something you will do to make the PTB experience better, how was your PTB experience during this chapter, and yes, if you kinda like the new contents as killer and new perks. This is everything for today. I'll see you really soon on my Twitch channel, Dreana Jane, and on my social networks channels like Discord, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you again, Jane.